taken any of these tests. I already received email from our state university, but not my son. Not sure how or why they are reaching out. Well, so what's happening in colleges all over the country, whether we're talking about private colleges or public colleges, is they are facing a demographic decline of students, which was somewhat worsened by COVID, but which would have happened anyway because of a declining birth rate over time. So a lot of colleges are facing severe economic distress and even closure because they are having trouble getting students to attend their schools. So the level of desperation is getting greater and greater among many colleges across the country. I don't know how they would have gotten your child's email information. Generally speaking, they're not supposed to be providing your email unless that's considered directory information, which there's an exception of under FERPA, but then your school or district has to tell you about that beforehand and allow you to opt out. So that's another issue about FERPA. There's certain information that's considered not sensitive that can be shared in certain cases with external partners, but they have to tell you what that information is at the beginning of the year and allow parents to opt out of its disclosure. So we have a question here about school-linked service applications that are collecting grades, financials. The fine print reads data can be sold while actively using the services. So these are services that are collecting your child's data without any consent, and the fine print says the data can be sold. If that's the case, then if you live in one of these states that we were talking about earlier, that would be illegal as well. So it's not just the College Board. And in fact, it would be more states that would be illegal because I showed you the subset of states where they created a special exception for College Board and ACT. And so there would be many more states in which that would be illegal. If you want to share with us that information later, you can do so. But I would definitely, if your child is mandated to use this service and the fine print says that the data can be sold, that could be probably illegal under your state law or under FERPA.
Yeah, to add to that, even if you don't have a student data privacy law that is barring, sales, you may have some additional laws. So here in Illinois, any data of children under 16 cannot be sold without parental consent. So there may be laws like that on the books, depending on the state as well. So that apply to, sort of more.
And the federal government has put out decisions on FERPA that say that students and parents cannot be required to give up their information for sale as in return for receiving educational services. It cannot be mandated. You cannot be made to give up your rights. That was a decision that had to do with this online school that basically said anyone who was registered in that online school had to sort of sign a consent form saying that this data could be sold. And the U.S. Department of Education came out with a fairly strong decision saying that was illegal. Any other questions? All right, people aren't seeing the spreadsheet, even though I put it in the chat. You see it? You want to show people the spreadsheet? Can you do that?
Yeah, let me bring it up and then I'll share my screen to show it.
I'll put it in the chat again. There it is. It said I needed access. Huh. Anyone with the link, it says, should be able to access that. Share. Anyone with the link. Anyone with the link can view. I'm actually going to change it. What? You won't be able to share. No. No. All right, try again. It says anyone with the link can view the spreadsheet. All right, Cassie's showing it on the screen now. So these are the states with exceptions for College Board and ACT with consent. And then you want to click on the other tab. And these are all the state laws where it's against the law, no matter what, even with parental consent. And you can see the bill number and you can click on the link. And then we have comments and notes in some of these. The thing is that in some cases, there may be amendments to these laws that we haven't caught. But if you go to the link, we believe that these are the most recent updates of these laws. Okay, any other questions? Can you put the link in the chat to the AG letter? Cassie, have you done that yet?
Let me go to that. For the template, that
Yeah.
one? Yeah.
Yes. So all of these materials will be shared with you after the webinar is over. The spreadsheet link, the PowerPoints, and everything that you need to get going. What do you think superintendents and school boards think about College Board vis-a-vis student data privacy? I don't know what they think about it. They may be fooled. They may be convinced by a large amount of money that the College Board spends in lobbying that these things benefit students. But in any case, I think it should be very clear that none of this data, at the very least, should be sold without parental consent. And the thing about you folks who live in places where there are elected school boards, unlike us in New York City, is that you always have the option to go to your school board and say, look, we don't like this practice. Parents don't want our kids' grades, scores, race, family income, etc., shared without our consent and sold for money. And we want you to make sure that this practice stops. Now, there may be some parents who want to allow this to continue, and that's, their right if they live in a state where there is parental consent. But I don't think anybody would think that students under the age of 18 should be able to sell away their rights to privacy in this way. And with the growth of score optional schools, I do believe that a lot of parents and students would be concerned to know that if they apply to a score optional school and choose not to send their scores there, that the school may know their scores anyway. Any other questions? Okay, so follow-up questions. We have info at, it's on the spreadsheet, but I'll put it, it's on the PowerPoint, but I'll put it in the chat again. Info at studentprivacymatters.org. that is our email. It comes to me, but I share it with Cassie. And if you have any questions, feel free to follow up with questions. As I said, everybody who registered is going to get access to the PowerPoint, to all the spreadsheets and templates. And we really want to keep in touch with you. And we really want to provide as much help and support to you as you would like or as you would need in order to try to get this practice stopped in as many states as possible and to really create a snowball effect. That's what happened with InBloom. It was incredibly exciting and rewarding. We would love that to happen again. Okay, it's 9 o'clock.
Yep. Thank you everyone for joining, and we'll be sending out the follow-up email. And definitely reach out if you have questions. We can assist with a variety of things.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for joining us again.